的因赞那个表里，然后这个天都了，然后都因看 testimony 前来的。I'm speaking. I'm gonna read the letter of Paul, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 and 9. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. I chose this verse because I really relate to it because I have found this verse on my own when I was reading Ephesians, when I was in a time of my life where I was very lost, and I'm thankful that I found Christ. To begin with, when I was a kid, I grew up as a Christian like much everybody else, but I really didn't know much of it. I just knew that the stories of David, the stories of Solomon, Jonah, all of those, and it was just like just from memorizing the story. That's it. I didn't know about Jesus. I didn't know about nothing else. And then during my middle school year, I had finally learned about Jesus, but I still didn't get much of it. I was really living a sinful life. I regret doing the things I did, much things to be unsaid, and it was my sophomore year when I had first met Christ, and it was during a camp we had with RCBC, and during that time it was my Siavan and Sia Ronson from Texas. I don't know if y'all know him, but they were teaching about the gospel in the camp, and during that time I really intently listened to it. I don't know why. Most of the time I would just fool around and just sit down and not even listen to it, but that time I had something inside of me that wanted. I was seeking for something. I was desperate, and so I listened to that gospel, and what he taught us was that Jesus loved us all, and that he died for our sins. And at first I didn't really get it, but when he later explained further on, I had a dilemma, and I started regretting things I did. I saw how sinful I was, and I started repenting. They had a prayer for me during that time, and we all came up to the front, and I came up there with a few of my friends, and then they started praying for us. That time I was speechless, seeing how much of a sinner I was, how much sin I've done in my life, and I realized I was lost. And then while I was praying, I was speechless. I couldn't pray for 4 times. I tried praying 5 times. I tried praying 4 times and I couldn't. But the last time I prayed and I really expressed myself, I really confessed everything I've done to God, and I really felt more relieved when I repented. And after that, I thought my life would be easier after I became a Christian, but it wasn't. I had spiritual warfare. I had things where my flesh and my spirit were battling, and I would choose to do either sinful things, or I had to choose between sinful things or doing good things, and I would fail, and I would go to the sinful things, if I'm being honest. And so I started thinking to myself, I was like, if I'm a Christian, I'm doing these things, why should I be a Christian at all? So I started having another dilemma. I'm like, I was having ups and downs, and I was like, I don't know if I should, because I do a lot of sinful things. I don't know if I deserve the love of Christ. I don't know if he deserved to die for me. And I don't know if I deserve to be saved. That's what I was thinking in my head. And then during my junior year, it was last year, during my junior year, I had come to CBC USA conference, and Shala was teaching. And during that time, he was teaching us a lot of things. He was answering a lot of questions. And a lot of my questions I had in my that I didn't even know to ask were answered. And not just that, it was during Bible studies we hold with Shaban, and we have this person named Uvanta, one of my mentors, and he taught us how to read the Bible, and he taught us the gospel correctly, and he taught us the love of Jesus Christ. And it was during that time when I realized that you don't need to do well, you do need to, but you'll always fall short of sin, is what I'm trying to say. You always fall short of sin, and it's only the grace of the God that saved us. And this is why I chose Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God. And I'm very thankful for everyone who's been there for me, who's been leading me, and I'm thankful to God. And it was during recently actually when I actually truly submitted my life to God, and I devoted my life to God. And this is my first time sharing the gospel or sharing my testimony as well. So thank you all for listening. Hello.